All right, hello, and welcome back to our next lesson. Today is a little challenging, so just hang with me and give it your best shot. Again, that's all I want to see is you trying your best, and then send me a message if you want help and you want me to work through some of these with you. I'm going to just model this first one, and then I'll ask you to kind of stop and pause and try some bits and pieces of this one, and I'm going to have you try this one completely on your own. All right, so again, watch me as I fill this one out. Fill it out in your notes. Like, I want you to be able to use this as an example to look back on. So fill it out along with me, and watch and listen. So steps for elimination. Again, we're still working on elimination. So if the first equation and second equation have matching and opposite coefficients, you can eliminate. So remember, matching and opposite means like 2x and negative 2x, or like 3y and a negative 3y. Those, when we had those two variables equal and opposite, so they would cancel. So if we look here, we have an x and a 2x, we would combine that and get 3x. We have a y and a 3y, we would combine that and get 4y. So nothing eliminates right now. So if not, we have to do what we learned on Wednesday and multiply one of the equations by a number, so that way we get matching and opposite coefficients. So reminder that there's ones in front of there when there's nothing there. This is 1x, there's just an x, so 1x, and then just a y, so 1y. So we have to change one of these to make them eliminate. So again, to choose what equation you do, you need to look at where your smaller variables are. 1 is smaller than 2 and 1y is smaller than 3y. So no matter what, I'm going to be multiplying this top equation. Now it comes down to picking your x or your y. So if you look, it's pretty easy to make a 1 into the opposite of a 2. And it's pretty easy to make a 1 into the opposite of a 3. So it doesn't matter here which one you pick. Again, that's what makes this probably the most challenging, is that there's multiple different ways you can solve it. So let's say we have a 1 and a 2. So I have a 2x here. In order to eliminate a 2x, that means I need to have a negative 2x up top. Remember, it has to be the same number but opposite. So this should be a negative 2x. So how can I make a 1 into a negative 2? By multiplying by negative 2. So now we're going to distribute that. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2y. And then negative 2 and 12 gives us negative 24. And then rewrite that bottom one. Super important. Rewrite that system so you can clearly see what's going on. All right. On to the next. So now we have our new system. We're going to add the two equations. The variable with the matching and opposite are going to eliminate. So we're going to add them now, because you can see since we multiplied, instead of having a 1 and 2, now we have a negative 2 and a positive 2x, and those are going to go away. We have 3 minus 2 is going to give us 1, and then negative 24 and 31 gives us 7. So again, we multiplied by negative 2 up here, so that way we could cancel out the x's. Now I could have chosen the 3's. If I decided I wanted to cancel out the 3's, this 1y would have needed to be a negative 3, so I could have multiplied by negative 3. But I chose the x's. If you did it with the y, you would get the same answer though. Okay, so now that we have our y, we have our variable, we can substitute that back in to find the remaining. So that is something we've done a lot. So now that we have our y, I'm going to plug it back into that first equation so I can find x. And subtract 7 on both sides, and we get x equals 5. And then again, the last step here is write it as an ordered pair. I think in the bottom of yours it should say solution. So x comma y. All right, I know, again, these are a lot. Hopefully you feel really comfortable with this elimination part right now, but it's this first part here that makes it like largely more challenging. So it's just about practice and understanding what you're trying to do and making sense of that. If you need to get this down, go ahead and just pause me and take your time to do that. So again, this one we have a 3 and a 9 or a 6 and a negative 12. Nothing eliminates. So we need to multiply one of our equations so that way we can get opposite and matching coefficients. All right. Between the 3 and the 9 and the 6 and the 12, 3 is a multiple of 9, so we can make it into the opposite pretty easily. And then same, 6 is a multiple of negative 12, so we can make that into 12 pretty easily. So you can choose either one of these. Again, on one like this, 4 is a multiple of 8, so that's really easy to do. 2 is not a multiple of 3, so this one you would kind of be forced to change the x. But ones like this, you can do either. So now I'm going to just say, okay, let's do the y's this time. So I'm going to highlight these. Okay. If on the bottom I have a negative 12, to eliminate it, what do I need to change this top into? Again, if I have a negative 12 down here, what would I need to change this top into? Hopefully you're thinking a positive 12. Remember, they have to be equal but opposite in order to eliminate. So we have a negative 12 down here, which means I need to make the 6 become a positive 12. So that's the one we're going to multiply. And 6 times what number is going to give me that 12? Times 2. All right, go ahead and take a second and distribute that out and write your new equation down along with your old one as well. So do that distribution and rewrite the bottom equation too. Pause me right now to do that multiplication, rewrite it, and get the bottom one, and then come back when you have this new system down. Okay, so 2 times 3x is 6x, 2 times 6y is 12y, and then 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, so we have now created our new system. So now you want to add the two equations together to get the one equation. So go ahead and take a minute now and add these two equations together. Again, pause me to do that and then come back when you're done. All right, hopefully you got that the 12s eliminate because they're now opposites. 6 and 9x is going to give us 15x total. And then 12 and 18 equals 30. Okay, so that's the next step done. So now do step 3, solve for that variable. What is x going to be? Again, take a second to do that. Well, remember that this is 15 times x, so we get rid of it by dividing. So 30 divided by 15 gives us 2. You can also ask yourself 15 times what number? Remember, x is just some number, so 15 times what gives you 30? Well, 15 times 2 gives you 30. Okay, and then again, now we need to substitute that back in to find the other missing variable. Remember, we have x and y, so we're going to use that to find y now. So I'm going to rewrite that equation. Okay. Go ahead and plug in your 2 and solve for y. Again, come back when you're ready. Give it your best shot. And pause me. Alright, so we get 3 times that 2 plus 6y equals 6. Multiplication comes first. This is a lot of 6s. We're going to subtract 6 on both sides, and we get 6y equals 0. And then we divide by 6, and y equals 0. And then again, the very last step, please do not forget this. Write that answer as an ordered pair. So x and then y. Again, I know that first part, again, can be a little challenging, but once you get the hang of it, I promise it gets easier. And then again, most of y'all should be comfortable with this by now. Okay. You try this last one here. So again, we don't have anything that eliminates right now, so we need to multiply to get these to cancel out. So go ahead, see if you can take a minute and multiply one of the equations by a number and see if you can get one of your variables to eliminate. I just want to see you come up with your new system. Actually, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to leave it blank for now. Pause me, see if you can multiply this step right here to create it two variables that are going to eliminate. Pause me come back when you're ready. All right, so again, this one, 4 is a multiple of 8, so that's easy to do. 2 is not a multiple of 3. Like, I can't do 2 times something to get 3 unless I use a fraction, so that one's hard to do. So that tells me I'm going to be matching my x's. So I have a negative 8 on bottom. I need to get the equal but opposite but on top. So if this is a negative 8, what do I need to make my 4x into so they eliminate and equal 0? And 8x. Remember, equal but opposite. So we need a positive 8x up here. So 4 times what number is going to give me that 8? 2. So now we distribute. 2 times 4x is 8x, minus 2 times 2y is 4y, 2 times 20 is 40. And then the old equation we didn't touch. All right, go ahead and do next step, step 2. Add your equations together, and then I want you to also do step 3. So right now, do step 2 and 3. Add the equations together, solve for that variable, and then come back when you're ready. Pause me now. All right, so adding these two equations together, we get the 8x's that eliminate. We get negative 7y equals 56. Okay, we get then negative 7 times y. So then we divide both sides by negative 7. And we get y equals negative 8. All right, so now we have y. Oh my goodness. So now we have y. So now, go ahead, do your next step. Substitute that value into one of those and find what x is, and then write your answer as an ordered pair. So now you're doing step 4 and step 5. Come on, pen. There we go. Do step 4 and 5, and then again, come back and unpause me when you're ready. All right, so we have 4x minus 2y equals 20. Plug in that negative 8. And we get 4x plus 16. We get 4x equals 36. And then we end by dividing by 4. And we get x equals 9. So your ordered pair is 9, negative 8. I'm almost out of time. Please come on down here and give this independent practice a try. Let me know if you